All right, Reggie, coming back with interview number 2. We'll have some new people coming soon, but in the meantime, we had a lot of questions and a lot of comments that people left on the previous interview, so I figured I could ask you a couple more questions. So, the Tupac bail situation, can you explain that more in depth about Suge's involvement with bailing Tupac out?
All right, John, you need to stay off the groupie page. That's the problem. You keep looking at the groupie page and hearing, and you know the truth behind all this stuff, and so you hate just hearing them saying it, and then making me come off like I'm stalking you. But anyway, John, there's some paperwork that I sent you, and if you can read it and explain it to the people right quick, and then we'll break it down.
So the article reads, Edward Shaw, Shakur's attorney, said that the money was raised by Atlantic Records, which guaranteed $850,000. The rest was put up with $300,000 bail bond and $250,000 in cash. Can you break that down for me, please?
Sure, that's easy. Okay, so this is what's going on, and you guys got to know what was going on back in the day. Time Warner Records, since about 1960 something, owned Atlantic Records. I think 1966 or 60s. Anyway, a while. Atlantic Records did not get sold by Time Warner or Warner Brother Music until I think even in mid-2003. Time Warner, Atlantic Records, all of those records company was in partnership during that time with who? They were 50% partners with Interscope Records. Okay. Also during that time, that same month, which is unusual, I think it was like the end of September the 28th or something like that, is when the separation agreement from Time Warner's and Interscope was done because all of the political pressure that was going on with the Vice President, Dan Quayle, Bob Doyle, and Dolores Tucker. Is the reason why Tupac kind of tapped at her in his music, talking about Dolores Tucker and Bob Doyle and the Vice President. Yeah, I even heard that in the movie where the mother and them talked about, hey, you're going to have a target on your back now because the Vice President know who you are. But anyway, so it was a separation agreement that was getting done, and that was done. But Atlantic Records had already promised to help secure the bail release because they was in partnership with Interscope, who was the parent company of Death Row Records. Or not parent company, they had an agreement with each other. And so the only reason, Time Warner or Atlantic paid for everything, for our parties and everything, because of their partnership with Interscope, who they were 50-50 partners with. Which I always said, yeah, all of these people put up money. Suge even put up some of the money, I think the cash bond or the bail bondsman. I don't know how it went, but I always said that ultimately who was responsible for the recoupment. Well, ultimately, it was Pac. Ultimately. But Suge put up his company or his record label credibility or his recruitment status with Time Warner, Atlantic Records, Interscope to get Pac out, which no one else stepped up and did but Suge Knight for whatever reason. If Jimmy was the one that said, hey, I can't get no more money for Pac, but maybe I can get it, through you, Suge, if you decide to do it, who knows how their conversation went. But Suge agreed to it. Suge got him. In Pac own words, John, please play this for the people that are just listening in. What Pac said in his own words.
Into Tupac, a young cat. I want to join the family, dog. Get me out. I want to join the family. Got me out. Whoop. I'm out. I'm in the family. We make out. We went through some sacred shit, me and this nigga. Me and this nigga should. We was every day I did my album. He was there every day. Every night we stayed up. We tossed it up together. We went out, we went to Mexico together, went to Hawaii together, we went everywhere. You know what I mean? And thought about it. It veto all that. As soon as they charge you, even if you ain't do it, it veto your career. I started from scratch with Death Row, a new company. I was independent when I was Tupac. Me Against the World, I just bought my old managers out. I had it all now. I re-signed to be a part of this for my own, for this to make my own shit bigger. And now I got Machiavelli Records, and Machiavelli is the first artist on that.
Okay, y'all heard what Pac said in his own words. Yes, I never try to dispute the paperwork. Y'all never heard me say once that the paperwork that the groupie is putting up is faulty. Anyone ever said me saying that? I always said it's opinionated. I use the word opinionated. We know what opinion means. It's like an asshole. We all have one. That's what an opinion is. But that is not the facts. Pac told y'all his words. The ownership of Machiavelli, All Eyes on Me, to Death Row once they left Interscope and took it to a company called D3, DNA, Koch, and all of that proves that Death Row owned them because Interscope wouldn't allow that music. Y'all never heard us talking about we own Are You Still Down, Thug Life, or anything like that, that poetry album that came out during that time. We never talk about that. We only talk about the albums that was put out and the music that was put out by Death Row. So, yeah, that's what's up. That's how the bail money was up. And all I argue with the groupie about is two things. Two things is all I disagree with him about. Well, three. One, this was on record, that Suge did bail out Pac ultimately because of his word and his credit, and he would have had to pay the bond, the money back if Tupac only sold 1,000 records. Suge, that would have went against his catalog, his dealing, his recoupment value with Interscope, and then ultimately Atlantic or Time Warner. Two, the second thing is that Tupac Shakur was a Death Row artist. And three, that all of the agreements that online that you all can go and John, tell them where he's pulling this stuff at. Tell them the name of the website and where they can go and they can pull it all up. The same place, because y'all got it thinking like he's so factual and he sold this, and all he's doing is going to this particular site, and I don't tell y'all where he's going. So y'all can go get it, invest in the time, and go look at it and read it your own selves. But all I'm letting y'all know is all of that stuff is true. But all of those rights was an agreement done that was assigned to Death Row Records. If not, trust me, Afeni Shakur would have sued Interscope, Time Warner, and Atlanta Records, and not Death Row. Y'all see the headlines. What do it say? Who did Tupac and Afeni estate, the estate of Tupac and Afeni Shakur sued? They sued Death Row Records for royalties, which was worked out. It was worked out. They had a deal with Interscope. They sued Interscope as well, or threatened to, but Interscope was like, hey, we'll let you control the rights. We just want to contribute. We just a distribution company. We don't care about being artists. As long as we always have the right to distribute his music, you can control it. Y'all can control it. It's y'all music. That's what Interscope does. Death Row was more of a label that controlled the artist, was trying to build people, was independently owned, not owned by any corporations or anything. And so that's why we had to go through what we went through with Miss Shakur and the estate. But it got worked out, and we did 4 additional albums. She licensed 2 songs to me, not licensed, gave me permission. And said, yeah, you can use them because that was the agreement, in the agreement, that we had to mutually agree for any songs. I'll tell y'all another incident. And the 2 songs was on Chronic 2000 and and the soundtrack Too Gangster for Radio that she allowed me to put on there. Or we have mutually agreed that they can go on there. But I'll tell y'all another song. Casey and JoJo album had a song with Tupac on there. Guess who got paid $250,000 to allow that to be placed on that album from MCA? Suge Knight and Death Row Records. I went and got that check and picked that up just to allow him to have those songs to be put on their album. Y'all look that up. Was it Thuggin' You, Thuggin' Me or something like that? With Casey and JoJo. And so, yeah, guys. I hope y'all comprehend this. Y'all understand this. And y'all research it. John, I hope you put up the paperwork about the Tupac estate suing Death Row Records. I hope you tell the people or explain, say it, because they don't like to read.
You just Google this stuff. If you Google Tupac Shakur agreement or contract, it comes right up. But before I end this segment, Reggie, I want to ask you one thing. This particular YouTuber, have you ever had any contact with him privately?
Oh boy. See, John, boy, I'm going to stop telling you stuff off the record because you causing problems. You like that fat dude from New York, DJ AG, who be creating problems, as I always say, with my boy James and stuff, putting up videos with James with cheese on it and calling him a rat and stuff. Daddy got off of Clubhouse. It wasn't like I did an interview with him. He took that off of audio from Clubhouse. But he's my boy. I'll be honest. I got a lot of respect for DJ AG and this channel. But, all right, John. You going to make me tell it because I tell it. You ask me, I tell it. Arthur Dallal, who y'all know, after John, that dude is a good dude in my opinion. He can't do nothing wrong to me if he never do another video with me again, which I'm not saying that's where we at. Me and Art have a great relationship. That dude call and check on me once, twice a week and look out for me in other ways as well. But anyway, Art got him on the phone with me. He wanted to talk to me about something. Because we was talking about or considering, he wanted to come at me as starting problems. He said, Red, do you know how many views? And he's not talking about Art. Art channel gonna get his views. I don't care. He putting up some people right now that I don't really know or know much about. That was producers way back in the 90s or 91, 92 with Tupac. That's doing crazy views. Of course, Gene and Keefy D gonna do crazy views because they're good. They get views wherever they go. My boy James, he was getting views wherever he went. And so, yeah. And then I did okay because I had just got out of the hospital and stuff. Y'all hadn't heard from me for a minute. But they already did one video with Art that did almost 600,000 views to date. And it was moving at that time. And they already got on the phone, was like, we're not talking about what he did with Art. We're talking about his channel that does 3,000 at the most videos. He said, let's create some controversy between us two, Reg. Like we going at it and going back and forth with each other. And man, we get crazy views. And I was like, nah, man, I got enough enemies out there. And when I get going on you, I'm going to run you off of YouTube. Because I get deep. I get personal. That's why RJ Bonds get 23 views. JMX, gone. Lay Legend, gone. Tanique, talking about other stuff. When I take it personal and go after you, you disappear. Big Cass. We heard from Big Cass. Where you at, Big Cass? And so I said, I ain't trying to do that to you. I got enough enemies. Enough people want to attack me. And he said, okay. I said, but what we can do, I said, we can do an interview on Art where we sit at the table and debate each other and just go back and forth like gentlemen. You come to my house and do it. And he was like, oh, well, let me see what Art will do about that. Let me see what Art say. You know what that means. He want to get paid by Art. he wants some money. And I asked Art, and Art was like, well, and at the time, this was about 3 or 4 months ago, to be honest. Art was like, well, I'm not interested. I'll just say that. I'm not interested in doing that. And I respect that. And so somehow he been getting me to do this. I don't know. A month later, somehow I've been doing that. But y'all know I don't go after him hard. I just call him a groupie. He is a groupie. Everything he puts up is pictures with people that's out in the business and he had no dealings with. You can tell he has no dealings with any people. A man to me that can walk up to another man and say, can I take a picture with you, is a groupie. I'm sorry. That's just how brothers from where I grew up think. We don't be one to take pictures with superstars or stars and stuff. It's hard we'll take them, but it's hard for us to go up and ask them to take pictures with them. I don't even let my wife take pictures with niggas because I know what they say when they leave. R. Kelly tried to tell y'all on the song, don't bring your girl up to the VIP with me. They be like, damn, that groupie ass nigga. That's the exact words when y'all walk away. Trust me, I've been around them. I know.